Good afternoon. Jared Epstein. I'm the head of sales for Timus Networks. I'm here in Orlando with Jim Smith of ProperSky.
Hey, Jared. Jim Smith, ProperSky. We're a managed services provider outside of Philadelphia. We specialize in behavioral health companies, nonprofits in and around the Philadelphia area.
We're here at IT Nation, and before I want to talk about why ProperSky has partnered with Timus and why Timus partnered with ProperSky. Before we start, just want to talk a little bit about high level. What does Timus do? We're an MSP dedicated vendor focused on network security, and going one layer beneath that, if you think about security from a few years ago, it was all about you have the office location, you have a firewall, computers weren't leaving the office. Fast forward to 2023, heading into 2024, users, even if you're in the office, you're taking the laptops home. The security perimeter is now wherever the user is, which is essentially everywhere, not just the four walls of an office behind the firewall. And we're trying to bring this to MSPs in a simplified, layered manner.
100%. So I think one of the things that's really evolved, even in the last 5 years, is the complexity of the network, right? So now we've got everything firewalled in an Office 365 environment, right? So, but we only want compliant devices coming in from whitelisted IP addresses or automatically detected by access control lists, and we want to make sure that the people seeing that information are the people that are supposed to see that information, from the devices that are supposed to see that information, from the places they're approved to see it from, right? And so, it's really easy. With the old days, hey, you can only get on the server if you're behind the firewall, right? Or you VPN in, but that's not going to cut it anymore, right? So we needed something modern that really met our needs, and Timus really checked all of our boxes.
That's a good point. And even hearing all this, right? Like for the users that are listening, like network security is not a simple thing. It's not a simple topic. And for the IT experts and the vendors out there, we're trying to simplify it for users and for MSPs. And that bodes me to the question, like when doing the evaluation, there is a lot of competition of vendors and different IT software providers out there. What landed you on Timus for your growing business?
So it's a really good point. So it's a good question. How we landed on Timus is, so when we're evaluating the product, we look for, there's several things that we look for, right? I think number one, we look for a solidly built product. And what I can say about the Timus product itself is it is well defined. It is well built, and it is very thoughtfully designed for MSPs and for customers in a way that abstracts much of the complexity of a zero trust network in a way that makes it accessible for most MSPs and business owners, right? So a great example is this. We deployed it to an accounting firm, right? And literally the app says connect, disconnect, adds in the VPN connection, and we can turn it on or off on an iPhone. It's literally 4 buttons. I mean, it's hard to mess up. But in the back of that, there's all these layers of complexity where we can sort of say they have access to this system, they don't have access to that system, they can see these resources, we can see that they're coming in and out where they need to be. And I think Timus does a fantastic job of really abstracting a lot of that complexity out for a modern MSP, right? So that was a huge part of our analysis. The other part of our analysis too is we really like to work with channel-built companies, right? So we like to partner up with organizations that are really dedicated to improving the product and are not going to step on our toes, right? So there's a lot of low-cost VPN products. There's a lot of really complicated enterprise products from the zero trust endpoint space that kind of come down. And Timus for us was just a great fit. It had just enough complexity for our team to manage, and it was just simple enough for the end user. And we're not worried about you guys competing in the space, right? We know that you're building the product and it's coming through us. And so, that's another reason. We like to put our name on products that we trust. Yep. Because at the end of the day, we're supporting it, and we felt like this was a good fit there.
Thank you. And that brings a point in terms of the trust factor, right? Like your clients are choosing you, not just because of the solutions you're picking, because they trust you, they trust your team, they trust the ProperSky brand. So we're grateful to have ProperSky choosing Timus to be a part of that. Was leaning a little bit further into that from just the ProperSky to Timus flow, were there certain things that we did, I guess, in the evaluation process that separated ourselves, again, removing the technology, but truly from the relationship standpoint that?
100%, right? So I met Pinar at an event, and she's very warm, very gregarious, and obviously, excited about the product, right? And so I think I gave you guys a chance probably in a way that I hadn't, just because of that sort of energy, right, which I liked and appreciated. So when we added you guys into the evaluation mix, it was clear that unlike the rest of the sales team, where we're running through a pitch deck and they're trying to get to slide 7, and I had to answer 4 questions before they would give me pricing. You guys were 100% listening to the questions that we had, and you had answers for everything, right? And for me, that speaks to product depth, product knowledge, and commitment to the product itself, right? So for us, that's a huge win, right? And a lot of times you don't get that, right? And I think that was a big part of why we like Timus, particularly from the evaluation perspective. I think the other thing that was great too is that you guys had an answer for every question, and you actually had a real roadmap, which written down, right? You never see that from vendors. We got on with the head of product development, and I really felt like this is what we needed, yeah.
Thank you. And I want to bring it back to ProperSky because every time we talk, I'm impressed with, again, the growth from, in the last 15 years, not just from an internal headcount perspective, but the different ways that you guys are approaching, again, security and IT for clients around the country. And you're telling me about you have clients that are you're not even meeting in person, that's just total geographical regions that are reaching out to you. And again, removing Timus from that, can you tell me a bit about how you're doing that and kind of what's been the key to success?
So it's interesting. So I think what's happened is, the workplace has evolved, right? So the traditional office, it's not dead, but it's broken, right? So I think a big part of what we're seeing here is some what I would consider forward-thinking organizations are breaking down the concept of the office. They're giving people the flexibility to work from anywhere. And one of our best niches, honestly, at this point is we really look at nationwide companies that are fully remote, right? And we enjoy that because we get to centralize inventory, we get to manage all the equipment from one location, and we get to deploy it out remotely. And then having a stack that's built to deliver those solutions that's easy makes it just a win-win for our most recent customers.
Yeah, thank you for that. And it's watching the MSP space change over the years has been great, but watching that evolution really take it to the next step is all that more intriguing. Looking at the next 12 months from now, and just in parting thoughts, are understanding this model of us being a vendor to support the MSP. We understand that your job is to support your clients who are trusting you to bring them great technology and great staff. So thank you for choosing Timus, and thank you for being here. We're excited about the partnership.
Yeah, we're excited about the partnership as well. And I think just sort of a parting thought here. I learned a long time ago that the products that you sell are a big part of your brand, right? And so I think when you commit to your products, you're committing to your promise and what that brand means to your customers. And I think you guys get that better than pretty much any of the other vendors that we talked about, right? So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great partnership.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.